Welcome to today's episode of Educational Horizons. I'm Maria, and joining me today is my colleague MihAI. We're both educators passionate about exploring the intersection of technology and education.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to dive into today's topic, the educational metaverse. As someone who's been teaching for over 15 years, I've witnessed many technological revolutions come and go.
Indeed, MihAI. The metaverse is being marketed as the next educational breakthrough, but I think we need to critically examine both its promises and realities. Let's start with what proponents claim: immersive learning environments, virtual field trips, and enhanced collaboration.
Those sound wonderful in theory, Maria, but when we look at pilot projects, like those at certain universities and high schools, they often remain isolated experiments funded through European grants or private partnerships. The integration into standard curriculum remains limited.
Exactly, and there's a significant gap between promise and implementation. High-quality VR headsets cost over €600 each, while many rural schools barely have functioning tablets. Only about 12% of teachers have received training in advanced digital pedagogy. How can we implement metaverse learning when these fundamental issues remain unresolved?
Not to mention the rapid obsolescence of technology. Educational VR platforms become outdated within 2 to 3 years, leaving institutions with useless equipment. This creates a perpetual cycle of investment that many schools simply cannot sustain.
Let's talk about the social dimension too. While the metaverse promises interactive exploration, recent studies indicate that students who use VR more than 3 hours weekly show a 15% decrease in face-to-face communication skills. That's concerning for educators who value social development.
I've observed this paradox of virtual collaboration in my own classroom experiments. Avatars don't transmit nonverbal subtleties. A shy student might become even more withdrawn in an environment where interaction is reduced to voice commands and standardized gestures.
And teachers often find themselves becoming technicians rather than educators. Instead of focusing on pedagogy, we're troubleshooting platforms and managing accounts. This fundamentally changes our role in ways that weren't necessarily intended.
The ethical considerations are equally troubling. Metaverse platforms collect biometric data, eye movements, vocal tone, reaction time, under the guise of personalizing learning. But who owns this data? How is it protected? In many countries, there's no explicit legislative framework regulating this aspect.
Not to mention the commercialization of educational space. Companies offer free platform access, but students are exposed to immersive advertisements for games or equipment. There have been reported cases of gaming addiction stemming from products promoted through educational VR.
And let's not forget the digital divide. Urban students might enjoy virtual tours of the Louvre, while those in villages without internet can't even download digital textbooks. About 34% of schools in some regions lack broadband connection. The metaverse could dramatically widen existing inequalities.
MihAI, there are also practical questions nobody seems to be asking. What happens when the server goes down? A history lesson in the metaverse requires electricity, stable internet, active licenses, and functional equipment. In schools where heating fails in winter, this seems utopian.
And who evaluates the evaluators? AI systems monitoring student progress in the metaverse are trained on Western datasets. How do they respond to regional dialects or cultural particularities? These are critical questions for educational equity.
There's also the embodiment question. Education isn't just cognitive, it's physical too. Handwriting, laboratory experiments, sports. Reducing experience to an avatar may affect fine motor development in young children.
Despite these concerns, I do see potential in hybrid approaches. Instead of investing millions in full metaverse implementation, we could transform classrooms into IoT hubs with sensors for humidity, light, and air quality for real-time ecology learning.
I like that idea. Or using AR overlays on physical textbooks, preserving tangibility while enhancing content. Or developing voice recognition for minority languages with AI systems that translate and adapt content.
Exactly. The metaverse isn't inherently problematic, but treating it as a panacea is dangerous. Quality education requires engaged humans, not just algorithms. Until we solve basic problems of infrastructure, training, and equity, the metaverse risks becoming a playground for elites while further dividing educational spaces.
As educators, we shouldn't resist technological change, but we should integrate technology where it amplifies humanity rather than replacing it. The goal should be enhancing the teacher-student relationship, not virtualizing it out of existence.
I couldn't agree more, Maria. Thank you all for listening to today's episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with educational technology. Please share your feedback with us.
This podcast was produced with brisk teaching by Professor Adrian Potter. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep teaching with both heart and mind.